Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, and it's East Coast Sports Investors Breakfast Bankroll for Saturday, February 12th, 2022. One day before the Super Bowl, Cincinnati and the Rams tie it on. It's Joe's world, and we just live in it currently. I was listening to our friends at Circa put on a show yesterday, Derek and the boys, and they just talked about, they're just waiting and waiting and waiting for the onslaught for the Ram money to come in, and it's just not coming in. And they had to get off of 4, and they dropped it to 3.5. Going to be interesting. Myself and Scott late this afternoon or early this evening, we'll have our Super Bowl show. We'll talk the game. We'll talk some props, some angles. Be some fun. So make sure everyone turns on their notifications for that. And also, don't forget Monday is Valentine's Day. So if you're getting all super excited and have one of those big Super Bowl parties and you try to just forget about Monday, well, if you do, you'll probably be on the couch on Tuesday. So make sure you take care of that. Anyone watching yesterday during the closing bell, Mr. Scott had a nice take on the Bulls. Myself had that over. It opened at 241 and struggled a little in the first quarter, got to pacing at halftime and took it over the top. He talked about the number 255, and I think that's right where it came in, 254 actually. So that was kind of neat. Talked about the Barneys, huge reverse line movement on them, and they win the game outright. Some good beer and pizza money there. But overall, a good night. The ECSI VIP crew goes down to 1-2. We had the over in the Bulls game. We were on Detroit in college, wrong side. That's all. It was the wrong side. And took a nice plus 132 dog in hockey with the Jets. This game was 90-10 all on Dallas. They had won 9 out of the last 10 at home against this team. And yet the number was only plus 132. And unfortunately, the Jets fall in overtime 4-3. So big board here today in college and, of course, NBA. We're going to go through it. We're going to get you set up to noon, maybe 1 or 2. And you can follow my timeline at EC Sports Invest. I'll be throwing some nuggets out there throughout the day. I don't, want to talk about the whole card. There's so many games here, but there are some games that catch my eye. So without further ado, let's bring on my co-host, the man from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott D. Webb. Good morning, Scott.
Morning, Jeff. How are you today? Not so bad?
Nah, I'm okay. The VIPs, ECI, we're at 7-7 this week. We're on our way to a great week. In the last 2 days, we were 1-2. Kind of stings, when you take some swings at some nice dogs and, you come up short in OT or by a bucket or something, but that's part of the game. I talked about the Bonnies here, huge reverse line movement. And I'm hoping more and more of our VIPs are watching this show. I didn't release that game, but the people that were watching, Mr. Lucky, Billy, and a few others definitely cashed in on that. But yourself, how goes it?
It goes nice and warm. I feel pretty good out here right now. I just flipped the thing over. It's 73 degrees already this morning. And I feel like we're going to be in the 80s today. And I'm feeling pretty good about this week. So kind of liking it. Now, I'm not so sure I like today's board very well for me, but I got a few things I'm looking at, but I haven't played anything yet this morning.
Well, they're talking 1 to 3 inches of snow tomorrow for us. So, you can
come on down, brother.
I might deep freeze you some snowballs. How's that sound?
And just come on down and you can hand deliver them.
I tell you what,
we'll go sit at the pool and it'll be all right. It's a heated pool, so it don't matter. We just go to the pool and hang out, and you can bring the snowballs.
Well, I'm definitely going to take you up on that sooner than later, as we're at almost the 1 month mark before our, almost 2.5, 3 weeks in Vegas. Can't wait. We'll be doing a lot of live remotes. Get to finally meet and break bread and have dinner and watch a few games with Mr. Lucky on the second weekend. Got the boys from Canada, and it sounds like the boys from Chicago coming in opening weekend. So I'll be able to get into Vegas on that Tuesday, get set up, go talk to some of the boys behind the desks at some of the casinos that we have connections with, and get ready for the madness. But let's get to the board. It's a big board again. It doesn't mean we go run to the window because there's action at noon. But I like to get everyone set up at least to see where my eyes are. And, usually I tell you what, the last 4 or 5 weeks, Scott, we've had one of those breaking news where there's been a big player out. There's been some huge steam on the other side. And I can tell you that the side with the steam has lost all of them. So hopefully as we go break down this board, we'll get another one of those and we can have everyone run to the window on the other side and cash a ticket at noon.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with cashing tickets. 12 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess it is, right? It's not in the morning.
No better way to start the day, right?
Hey, you just compile the next one and put one on and get 3 or 4 of them today. Why not?
1, 2. I think I said on the preview, there's 11 games for you in the NBA. Just strictly from an eye test, without doing any breaking down. Obviously, the one that sticks out, your Miami Heat. 10.5-point favorites over this Brooklyn team. I talked to Riley at length yesterday, and maybe I'm crazy here. I said to you the other day, I think come playoff time that Kyrie will be able to play the home games. Just on paper, I think the KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons big three, it blows me away. I think if Ben is able to penetrate the paint and dish to Kyrie, dish to KD, and defensively, with the KD, with a Ben Simmons, the length there, it's just so intriguing. Not that Philly with Harden, Harden will be on his best behavior in this playoffs. He's already opted in, and the Sixers owe him a whopping $47 million next year. So just think about this. This is how bad the NBA is. Every game, this guy's going to be making about $650,000 a game for 40 minutes. And probably, 82 game season. He'll probably, of course, because of load management, miss at least 20 of those games. So it's just sickening what the money is, Scott.
Yeah, I've kind of looked at that at one point in time or another, and the NBA teams make as much money as some of these other programs do, the leagues, and they play 82 games a year, so they're making money and they get TV contracts just like anything, but they don't have to share the wealth with as many people. So they don't share the wealth with as many people, so the people make more money, and the stars of the league even make more money. And I think it's terrible only because the truth of the matter for me is, even though I think these are great athletes and you're watching them on TV, you don't get the full respect of what they can do until you sit there and watch them play live. I still think that I could never see how you could pay them this much money because they're not worth that much money. They just aren't. But that doesn't mean they don't deserve the money, because if they're sharing it out there, by God, go get it.
No, you're right. I mean, it's the American dream, right? I just think my goats, the Larry Birds of the world, the Magic Johnsons, not that they're not well off. Trust me, I'm not saying that. But look at their contracts back then, and these guys just shaking their head like, why weren't we playing during this time? I mean, it's sickening. But enough of that. The hardwood board is yours. Again, the eye test that stuck out. I think they're trying to entice you on the Golden State side, who is struggling a little right now. Only favored by 6.5 right now at circa, as the board just pops against the Lakers. Denver coming off back-to-backs, tough loss at the Garden last night at Toronto. The Knicks, imagine that, the Knicks 5-point favorites at Portland. Yes, we know the McCollum trade and all that other stuff, so they're decimated. But enough from me. The board is yours. Oh, actually, I'll just end this. Philly 3.5-point favorites against Cleveland, who came from downtown. I tell you what, I was eyeing the Pacers last night, and I think they were +7 at home, and they were up 20 at half or something stupid. And Cleveland comes all the way back. That phantom fourth quarter call, they outscore them by 17 or 18, and they win by 7. But that's the NBA, and the board is yours.
Yeah, it's hard to go against some of these teams that are just playing pretty well. And Toronto is one of those teams that's playing really well. You know, your team up there, the Boston Celtics, are playing really well. So, you know, it's hard to go against some of those teams that are doing so good. That's like Boston, Memphis, Toronto. Those teams are the ones that are killing it. So one of the things that I was looking at today, and again, I'm waiting on some. You know, it's a little too early to know who's going to play. It's a little too early to understand who's not. You know, who's not going to play, and those are some important factors. But I think that some of the stuff I'm looking at is San Antonio and the New Orleans game. These are two teams that aren't very good, but at the same time that they're not very good, they're both on upticks. And I kind of like this game to go under the 228. I don't see how they're going to get that far. So in my last 2 weeks print numbers, it shows 221, and home and away number shows like 216. So it's pretty far from that. So I kind of like that game to go under the number. And I'm just going to wait and see a little bit about if somebody's not going to play, if something's going on, before I jump in and bet that game. Another one that I was looking at is, and I think that one of the things people are going to do, I think people are going to jump on Sacramento all day long today. Sacramento's playing Washington. Washington's played it yesterday. Washington got beat yesterday. Or did they win a close game yesterday? I can't remember if they won that game or lost. It was a game they played Brooklyn or somebody yesterday, and it was just a bad basketball game. They're a bad basketball team, and I think people are betting Sacramento. So I you know, when I'm over at pregame right now, pregame is not showing me the bet dollars on the numbers, so I can't see that in the NBA. I can see it in college, but not in the NBA, because I think it's probably a little too early yet.
Scotty, that was on Thursday. Wizards won 113-112.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So I think we're looking at a game here where Sacramento is an away favorite, for God's sakes. And that tells you how bad Washington has fallen. You know, Washington was one of those teams out of the gate that everybody was in love with. But what happened, Washington's got rid of a lot of their players. And they traded a lot of their guys, and Beal got hurt. So they don't have really a lot of people suiting up that even know each other. And one of their main guys, Porzingis, that they got in the trade, he's not necessarily going to play today. So it's one of those situations where you kind of want to watch that one. I think that's going to be one where people are betting Sacramento like crazy. I'm not afraid of taking Cleveland today against Philadelphia either. I'm not going to, not yet anyway. I'd like to see if people actually bet that game and bet on Philadelphia, thinking that, oh well, you know, Cleveland isn't going to hold up. But I think that they're going to play fine. I like Toronto, or not Toronto. Yeah, Toronto today against Denver, but it's kind of hard. Denver's been playing pretty well, but Denver didn't show real well yesterday, and now they got to come down and go up north, I guess, a little bit and play in Toronto. I don't think that's going to be an issue in terms of travel, but I think it's going to be an issue in terms of Toronto has been really, really good. And so I'm just waiting on that. And I don't like anything else. You know, I like I said, I like San Antonio, New Orleans. I kind of like the under there. And I like Toronto. And really, that's about all I'm really thinking about playing.
All right, we'll tiptoe over to the hardwood. The college hardwood. Let me get over there. Again, there's a gazillion games. I'm going to try to get you through 12-1. I'm going to talk about a game at 2 o'clock that I'm eyeing and go from there. Again, if you're not following us, go over to EC Sports Invest. That's myself or Scotty over at 20 Webby MLB. Take 2 seconds, jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe, it's free. Hit the like button, tell a friend or two, and you'd be helping us out a lot. I always like to say, whether it's on social media and you're retweeting, you're adding content, you're asking questions, it's like tipping the dealer at the casino. And that's what social media is all about, especially in our lane. So it's a big help there. But anyways, 12 o'clock, rotation number 601, 602, Texas at Baylor. Baylor opened up 5.5, now a flat 6, 71% of the bets, 74% of the money, all coming in on Baylor. The Texas team has been pretty good to us. We had them on Monday, I think it was at home against Kansas, and they outscored them 7-0 to steal that game late. A Baylor team that, again, there was a stretch from last year to this year that they had won a bazillion in a row. Kind of been up and down, looking to catch their second half stride now. But money's coming in on Baylor, Scott.
Yeah, I'm showing the same thing. I got 63% of the money and 65% of the tickets on Baylor. And as of right now, and I know it's they're a noontime start, they are the highest bet game of the day so far.
You know, Texas has been good to us. I'm not going to go to the well here. I think the number's about right. You see here, actually, if I go there, I'm going to lose. I was going to pull up Ken Palm for a second, but I'll lose the screen. So I'll leave it there for now. So it is what it is there. Actually, I'm going to get creative here. Well, give me 1 second. Trying to get creative here, and it won't allow me, right? Here we go. Come on down. There we go. Ken Palm's got it 68-62 right now, so they're spot on that one. Next game, rotation number 603, 604, Arkansas at Alabama. Alabama opened at 5, staying at 5. 60% of the bets, 67% of the money, all coming in on Billy Hewlin's Alabama Roll Tide.
Yeah, I'm not showing the same thing here. I'm showing 60% of the money, 59% of the tickets on Arkansas.
All right. Ken Palm's got it 82-77. I'm going to take it right now. I mean, Alabama right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 6 their last 10. They've lost 2 out of their last 3. Now, this is all in conference play. And I'm trying to see if they have played Arkansas yet, and they have not. Arkansas on the other side. Arkansas has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row. So
Aren't they just off the win against Auburn?
They just beat Auburn in OT as well on Tuesday. They're rolling. There's no doubt about it. They're rolling. Again, a number that I think is trying to entice you to take Arkansas, an Alabama team that's just been so inconsistent in my eyes. A team that if they're hitting the threes, look out. I obviously personally would lean Arkansas. I think they're playing better. But I think on the other side that, Vegas is kind of enticing you to take them versus a Bama team that's struggling. That's a sit and watch game for me. I'm going to skip down to the stench of the day already at noon. And when I say stench, this is stench times 10. Let me get over there now. And when you hear some of these numbers, I feel like you hear, Scotty, when you rattle off some of these numbers. Rotation number 607, 608. Creighton at Georgetown. Creighton opens up at -5, now 4. 66% of the bets, 62% of the money is on Creighton.
Yeah, I'm showing the same thing here.
Okay. So let's pull up the stench in the morning, guys. Let me pull it up for you here. Where is it? It's so far down that it's comical. Come on. Come on. Bear with me, peoples. Bear with me. It can't be that far down. There's no way. All right, let me go back up top. Apologies. Eyes aren't working right now. I'm just going to do this.
What happens when you get old, Jeff?
Yeah, I know. All right. Creighton, 14-8, 6-5 in league play. I guess this is going to be a back-to-back. One of these games was canceled while Georgetown was on COVID. Creighton coming off a win against Butler, 54-52. They have some marquee wins. Obviously, they've beaten Villanova. They beat Marquette in double overtime. They've beaten St. John's. They've beaten DePaul. They beat UConn. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the last 11 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 6-5. They have 5. They're 4-point favorites. Ken Palm's got Creighton winning 74-68. Okay. Now let's just bring up Georgetown. 6-16, 0-11 in conference. I'm going to say that again. 6-16, 0-11 in conference, and losers of 12 in a row. I know this is going to be tough to stomach. Lucky don't fall off the couch here. Take the Hoyas plus the 4.5. Take them plus the 125, 130 on the money line. And like I talked about in the Michigan game, you'll see early. Now, a Georgetown team when I saw them about 2.5 weeks ago at UConn that hit 8 3-pointers to keep them in the game. I don't know what Pat's doing. I watched the game with my own eyes. The kids hustle. The kids try. It's not like they're just stepping into every game and they're not trying. Looking at their boxers, they're giving up so many points. That's the issue. The number reeks. It smells to high heaven. This is by far the stench play of the morning. So I'm going out on a limb. I'm taking the Hoyas plus the 4.5. I'm even going to sprinkle some beer and pizza money on them to stop the streak. This game just makes zero sense to me, Scotty.
Well, I mean that's where the sniffer comes out, and you can find some of this stuff, and if you can get it right, then you're on to something big, and we've been doing that, and you've been doing that for weeks now.
Seton Hall, Villanova, 6-11, 6-12, a Hall team that just cannot get traction. A Villanova team a little banged up, obviously. Gillespie not at 100%. They're still trying to. They just find ways to win. That's what Jay Wright does, and they're chasing Providence right now. So I think they're spot on with the number. Again, if the Hall team shows up, I think it'll be a competitive game. What's really intriguing to me here, Scotty, is the under-over opened at 135.5. It's already down to 132.5 or 132 there. So your numbers showing 74% of the bets, 89% of the money on the Hall.
No, it's not that high. It's 56% of the money, 63% of the tickets on Seton Hall.
I'm staying away. It's a pizza. It's a popcorn game. We're going to stay away there. Rotation number 613, 614, a 1 o'clock start. Oklahoma comes into Kansas. Kansas opened at 10.5. It's 10.5 across the Vegas Strip. 69% of the bets, 90% of the money coming in on Kansas.
Well, I'm showing 84% of the money, 87% of the tickets on Kansas.
Ken Palm's got it 77-67. Kansas, 19-4, 8-2 in league play. They're coming off a loss against Texas. They got 4 losses all year. Dayton, and then after that, they won by 13 against Iona on a neutral court. After their loss against Texas Tech, they won by 1 against Iowa State. After their loss to Kentucky, they beat Iowa State by 9, and now they're coming off a loss against Texas. Here, Ken Palm's got them winning 82% of the time. An Oklahoma team that's 14-10 and 4-7 in league play, and their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Their last 11 games, they are 3-8. So I think they're trying to. I think Oklahoma is competitive the first half. Kansas at home, coming off a loss, is a dangerous team. I'm staying away there. I think they're pretty spot on the number. I want to go to 2:00 for you guys. I'm going to entice you with a 2:00. My Ivy League special here. Rotation number 623, 624. Brown at Cornell, a Brown team that has been disappointing to us, but has cashed us a handful of tickets. Been able to pick and choose my spots. I think this is a great spot here. Take a look at Brown. +2, plus about 115 on the money line. I think they cover the 2. I think they got a great chance there to win the game outright. What are you seeing for numbers over there, Scotty?
I'm showing pretty light action on it. $10,000 so far. 77%. Go ahead.
That's not my 10,000.
Yeah, well, there you go. 77% of the money, 79% of the tickets on Brown.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot. I think they get out early and often, and I think they take care of business there. There was a couple more that caught my eye. I'm just going to throw them out there. I think this number is trying to entice you. It's just my take. It's a 2:00 start. Rotation number 635, 636. Florida State at North Carolina. 2 teams that are just baffling this year. Both underachievers. A North Carolina team that has played great at home, though, versus a Florida State team that's been real inconsistent. Let me see what Ken Palm has to say about this one. See if we can find that. They got Carolina winning 77-69. Let me see if they played each other this year. They have not. Carolina 17-7, 9-4 in conference play. Florida State 13-10, losers of 5 in a row in league play. 6-7 in conference play. So I think they're trying to. They're begging you there for some Florida State money. A team which is dangerous when they show up. The problem is they just haven't been showing up. I think Carolina will sneak a double-digit win there. I'm staying away, but I just think that number's enticing, or trying to entice Florida State money there. There was one other one I wanted to hit upon before we wrap up here. Again, I'll be throwing some nuggets out throughout the day. Duke's traveling to BC today. I had an opportunity to go. It's just too busy. So I'm going to stay far away from that game there. 4:30, Marquette at Butler, 7-13, 7-14. Marquette opens up at 3.5. It's still 3.5. Do you have any numbers on that, Scott?
Yeah, right now I got $17,000 bet on it. 54% of the money, 77% of the tickets on Marquette.
Yeah, it's a line freeze. Keep an eye on that line. Maybe you can get it to 4. A Butler team, again, inconsistent. Not your Brad Stevens coach Butler teams. But I think could be a sneaky home dog there. But I'm staying away from that for now. 6:00 start, Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan coming off a huge win against Purdue. Ohio State coming off a loss at Rutgers. This line opened up at 2, now 2.5. Really, really tough to gauge which one of these two teams is going to show up. I think the hungrier team will be Ohio State, but did Michigan finally find something? Going to be real hard to match that level. I talked yesterday with this to Riley about this game, but I wanted to go to rotation number 737, 738. That's San Francisco at Santa Clara. The greatest guy ever to lace him up for San Francisco. It's his birthday today, Mr. Bill Russell. San Francisco coming off they were 17-point favorites their last game and they lost outright. A Santa Clara team that's real good. Ken Palm's got it 76-75 Santa Clara. I'm just going to pull up the numbers here for that game. Santa Clara 17-8, 7-3 in conference play. They already have played San Francisco and they lost 88-85. So it's going to be a hell of a game there. I'm going to pull up San Fran's numbers right now. San Fran 20-6, 7-4 in conference. It's a big game for both teams. I lean San Fran coming off the loss, but we'll keep an eye on that. So that basically gets you, up until dinner time. Myself and Scott are going to put together our NFL show either late this afternoon, early this evening. We're going to break down the game. We're going to give out some final scores. We're going to talk some props. We're just going to try to get you ready for Sunday. I talked to Scott off the air, and I think we both have the same opinion where, for myself, I would have much rather to see a Kansas City Rams game. I think that would have been real intriguing, not taking anything away from the Bengals and what they've done. I just, again, when you get a superstar of Joe Burrow and the story, I just think, the public loves a story. They love a dog. And this is probably one of the biggest public trendy dogs in history, where I'm hearing that the Super Bowl handle is going to break every record ever created here. So I'm not saying the Bengals can't win the game. I'm not saying the Bengals can't cover the game. But if you look at what I do and you look at what Scott does on paper, this game is not even close. But that's why they play the games.
Yeah, there's showing right now $4.29 million bet on this game through pre-games casinos that they get the information from, showing 54% of the money and 61% of the tickets, all on Cincinnati.
We shall see. We shall see. Closing thoughts, Scott.
The closing thoughts for me today is about baseball. The union and MLB is meeting today. The proposals being discussed today, the new one, and as long as what Manfred had to say a couple of days ago is pretty accurate, then I would suspect that I don't think you're going to have a deal today, but it's very possible that within the next, say, 7 days, 8 days, that groundwork will be there and there'll be a deal done within, say, 10, 14 days. But today's the day where the union has to come out of the talks, and we need to hear from them that, yes, the concessions were made, and yes, some things were happening, and we have traction and things are moving. And if that's the case, baseball is going to happen. There won't be any delays. It'll be ready to go. And if it doesn't happen, then we might be in for a little bit of a little longer stretch than what we thought we might have been. I heard an analogy that I kind of thought was kind of cool. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. So when the groundhog comes out, if he sees the shadow or whatever, he goes back in. We're going to expect things to be pretty good for a little while. If he doesn't, then we expect more snow or whatever it is. Then it's going to keep going on forever. So this is Groundhog Day for Major League Baseball, and how that union really responds to whatever it is the owners are presenting them today. And as long as it's something that's halfway decent, I think we're going to have baseball real soon.
I agree. I'm going to piggyback off of that. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. Listen, they're not letting the football have their stage, the Super Bowl or anything like that. They're doing their due diligence. I think everything's in place. I think that the issues aren't as big as most think. When they already throw in that the universal DH is in place, when they're throwing in small bits and pieces. They talked. I think it was the free agency and the from 6 to 5 or 7 to 6 years, and each side seems like they're pulling back some of their demands, and they both know that they can't have a 60-game season. They can't have anything like that. And I say this tongue in cheek that this sport's on life support, meaning the millennials don't buy into it. They don't buy into the fact that it's just too long of a game. Who has 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours to dedicate to a game? And as you say, exactly as you say, and I say, listen. If you're not prepared for 3-4 hour baseball game, don't go to it. We don't need you. I'm telling you, here in Boston, okay, Nesson, let's say the first pitch is at 7:05. Nesson's on at 6 o'clock. I'm listening to Jerry. Rest in peace, Jerry. You will be missed this year. Jim Ed, Tim Wakefield, whoever's on for an hour. And then the game's 3 hours and 15 minutes. And then they get an hour wrap up. My channel doesn't move. The other big TV's got the MLB package on, and I'm watching 6 or 8 games. And as I told you off the air yesterday, when I finally get to bed, whenever that is, I go to the West Coast games and I'm watching 3 or 4 games. Baseball is baseball, and Boston and the state of Massachusetts goes so much smoother, and the summer's so much brighter. People are so much happier when the Red Sox are winning. And I'm a diehard baseball fanatic, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I love the MLB app. That's what I have, and I watch the games on the app. And the reason I like the app is because I have it on my phone, it's on my laptop, it's on all my TVs, it's on my PC, it's on my tablet, it's on everything I have. So I can watch any game anytime I want through any of that stuff. So those are the things I like, and I'm right there. I can flip around and I can do whatever. It's just so convenient and so good. And when Major League Baseball's here, there's nothing like it, because the year that we had the issues and everybody was watching the KBO. God, it was great when the KBO was supplanted by the MLB, and you got to watch the real players play, and you get to see the pitchers pitch. And you sit there and you go, what? These guys can't hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball? And then you get the guys here in the States throwing their 95, 96, 97, 98, and they're hitting those balls. So it's a different league. It's a different level. And I get it. It's all that way. But these are the best players in the world, and that's why they come here. And I love it. I mean, I love it.
Thank everyone watching, listening, retweeting, subscribing, whatever it is. Can't do it without you guys. Turn your notifications on. We'll be back later this afternoon, early this evening, with our Super Bowl preview. And then we'll be back at it early tomorrow morning just to get you set up and ready, getting all those Super Bowl parties ready for the big game, for Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Halftime, and Eminem, and all those good guys. Reliving my past. Good to see them there, of course. But it's going to be fun. It's Super Weekend. And what I really, really enjoy is on Monday, the focus comes on to the kids. It's time to enjoy and embrace the madness. As Scotty's going to find out after today that he's going to have to get cracking on his 150-page plus MLB book. And once it's ready, guys, you're going to want to get your hands on it. It's not just the breakdowns of the teams. What he really, really does, and does so well, is he talks about the gambling side. Well, I use the G word, OMG. I would tell my producer to edit that, but I don't have a producer, so never use the G word, never will. We take the G out of G and gambling and put the $1,000 in your pocket. How's that sound? But he just breaks down what to look for and how to invest and wager in the world of baseball. A lot of times people just wave the white flag. They don't get it. And it gets to be frustrating because if you're on the right side for 8 2/3 uh, uh, innings of a game, and then the reliever comes in and there's an error by the second baseman, and then a pass ball, and then a base hit, and now you're in the extras and you lose in extras, or a walk-off homer, it hurts and it stings more than a lot of these sports. And you got to be tough-skinned, but that's the good part about it, and that's the fun part about it, Scott.
Yeah, baseball's a different sport that way sometimes, and I remember the uniqueness now of the 3-batter rule. The manager, that's how they lost the game. Now, I mean, the game's tied. This pitcher walks the guy, so they brings in the next guy. The new guy comes in, and he just doesn't have it, Jeff. And he's all over the damn place. Can't throw a strike. So what's he do? He walks the first guy. So now they got runners on first and second. Walks the next guy. So now they got bases are loaded, and they can't take him out. I mean, it is what it is. And he walks the next guy. They walk into one, and there to go. The game's over, and there's nothing you can do. So that's Major League Baseball, right? I mean, you can lose these games in any way possible. But that's not the goal. The goal isn't to go lose the games in any way possible. It's those are the ones that stand out that you lose because stuff like that happens. A fly ball goes out there and the guy goes to catch it, and it's like, oh my God, I can't see it. And it hit the ball playing somewhere, and in the box score, that's a double, but it should have been a double. It should have been an out, and then the guy just run around the bases, scores, and wins, and it's all over. Catcher misses the, it's a pass ball. Oh, stuff. He was supposed to throw a curveball, threw a fastball, missed it. Guy runs in, scores. Stuff happens all the time. But there is strategy to what we're doing, and there is strategy to the game, and there is strategy to understanding numbers. And one of the greatest advents, and the old school guys are going to hate me for saying this, but it is what it is. Sabermetrics are awesome in baseball. And the reason that they're awesome is because they are more specific and more detailed understanding of what's going on, and they are predictive to a degree. So if you understand what you're looking at and specific things, you're in good shape. If you don't look at other things, you're in better shape because, I don't know, there's 300, 400, 500 Major League Baseball stats you can go look at. But some of that stuff doesn't mean anything. I mean, I don't care how many times a guy hits the ball to the right side of the field or the left side of the field. Who cares? Well, some people do because they're doing other things with that data than what I am. I need to know how they're going to win the game. So that's the information we're looking for. And when I write these books, I put all that stuff together to try to make it easy for people.
Always remember this: if you are wagering or investing at any point today, tomorrow, during the Super Bowl, whatever, always wager responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number available to you. Ask for help. Why? Because we care. Myself and Scott want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Scotty Webb at 20 MLB. We wish you all a blessed day. We wish you to cash some tickets, but to have some fun with this. It's not the end all be all, even though we preach you can make a second stream of income. There are professionals out there doing this for a living. It's not for everyone, but if we can help, we can build, we can educate, we're doing our job. So have a great day. Turn on the notifications. Myself and Scott will be back later this afternoon, early this evening for the Super Bowl preview. And until then, have a blessed day, and we will see you soon.